Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Today we're going to discuss the meaning of the verse that we memorized. Rite artam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyat atmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha. We're discussing this in our course on Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. Achintya means inconceivable by one's own intelligence or mind, and that means the nature of Bhagavan or God, the absolute truth, and our relation with Him, and what is material nature, what is the soul in God, that is inconceivable to the mundane mind unless we take shelter of transcendental knowledge revealed through our disciplic succession. This is called Amnaya Vani, revealed knowledge. This verse is given by Bhagavan to Lord Brahma. It's the second verse of the Catuh Sloki Bhagavatam. Catuh Sloki Bhagavatam is the 4 verses in our most important scripture, which is like the summary of all kinds of knowledge of the Bhagavatam. This is the second one. Rite artam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyat atmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha. This verse is the summary of Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, and it's very mysterious. So we'll break it down according to the commentary of our acharyas. Rite means without. Rite, without. Artam means value, artha. Anartha is what has no value, and artha is what has value. Yat pratiyeta means a pratit, or pratiyeta means that which has some appearance, or it's apparent to the eyes, it's visible. Pratit. Okay? Na pratiyeta means what is not apparent. Cha atmani, atmani is Bhagavan saying, Krishna saying myself. And cha atmani is showing that it's connecting both of these. Yat pratiyeta, na pratiyeta is both connected to chatmani. That's why he's using and. To connect pratiyeta, na pratiyeta. Tad vidyad, know that. Tad is that. Vidyad, know that. Vidya is knowledge. So know that. Atmano mayam, to be my maya. Yata baso, like an abas. An abas is a semblance or a reflection. And yata tama, or like tama. Tama means complete darkness or ignorance. So what he's saying is that know that which is not present with me, which may appear to have some value, artha. Actually, it is rite artam, without value. That which has no connection to me has no value. That which is separate from me has no value. Na pratiyeta chatmani, and that which is in my presence but also has no substance, know that to be my maya. So what he's saying is that there's he's saying there are 2 considerations here. Yat pratiyeta, which means separate from me, what has no value. And in my presence, na pratiyeta, what has no value. There's 2 sides. Know that to be my maya. So this is describing what is Krishna's maya. Maya means Krishna's energy, bahiranga shakti. There's 2 kinds of maya. Yata baso, yata tama. And in the Gita, Krishna describes this also. We learned these 2 verses, or we mentioned them. We didn't memorize them yet. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kam mano buddhireva chahankara ityang me bina prakritir astata. Maya means prakriti, God's energy. Krishna is Purush, the controller, the master, and prakriti is his energy, which manifests as maya. So there's 2 kinds of prakriti. There's the material elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, that is comprising all of that we see in this world. These are the 8 material elements. Then we have the para prakriti, which is jiva bhuta mahabaho yayadham dharyate jagat. This is called the higher nature. Apariyamitastvanyam prakritim vinime param. This is described to be the higher nature. But it's also prakriti. That's why when Krishna says, he's telling 2 things here. Yata baso, yata tama. He's saying, my maya, atmano mayam. My maya is twofold. Abas and tama. Abas, and we'll have to break down each one what it means. Okay, so abhas means like a reflection or like a glimmer of a semblance of something. And tama means complete darkness. So abhas means the living entities, the jivas, and tama means maya, which is maya meaning material nature. The planets we see, the universe we see, all the different things that we see with our material eyes. That is tama. Okay, so yat pratyeta means separate from me, this maya has no artham. Separate from me, maya has no value. And na pratyeta chatmani, in my presence, this maya also has no value. So we're going to give some examples now. Rite artham yat pratyeta. What it means is that when we see everything we see in this world, it seems like it has some value. Pratyeta. Yat pratyeta means it appears to have some value. But really it's without value. So how can we understand that? It means that the soul, being part and parcel of Bhagavan Krishna, has become enamored with the material nature. We become absorbed, as if possessed by the ghost of material nature. And therefore, even though we're of a higher nature, we're trapped in this material existence, which is not really the home of the soul. We're of the nature of divine consciousness. And yet, we're trapped in material nature and matter. And so therefore, our existence here does not really fit for the soul. Therefore, it has no real artham. It's rite artham. It has no real value. It is as if we're in a dream. The Shastras, the Upanishads describe, it is like the living entity is a witness in a dream. And in the dream, we see so many different figures. And we think, I am that. But when we wake up, we realize it was just a dream. So our conditioned state, as a conditioned soul, is that we transmigrate through millions of different species of life. And when we're in each species of life, we think that is who I am. We shouldn't think this is the only life I've had. Now we are men or women. Before we may have been lions or tigers or dogs or cats. And then as a dog we think this is valuable, this is meaningful, this is who I am. We think it has some value, artham. But then, like a dream passes, after birth comes death. And then again birth, and then again death. And in this way we go through millions and millions of species of life. And in every life we think this is who I am and this life is valuable. But the first lesson in spiritual life is that I am not this body. I am a spirit soul, and my destiny is to transcend material nature and go to my true abode, the divine realm. So therefore it has no value. Also, it's described, another example is given, yat pratyeta. Separate from Krishna, Maya has no substance, which means separate from Krishna, without Krishna, independent of Krishna, there's no basis for Maya. The example is given of a reflection or darkness. Okay, so a reflection, if you look at yourself in a mirror, imagine you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Your reflection in the mirror is only there as long as you're looking at it, or as long as you're in front of the mirror. If you're looking at the mirror, okay, you can see your reflection. But if you walk away from the mirror, is that reflection still there? So that is yat pratyeta. As long as you're absorbed in Maya, it seems like it has some value. Your consciousness, the soul is consciousness. But because we're absorbed in material nature, we give value to it, but really without the soul or consciousness, it has no value. All these material universes, all these planets, without consciousness, it's just dead matter floating around in space. And also without consciousness, it would not even have any existence. Without consciousness, it has no substance. It comes to being through consciousness. It resides in time through consciousness. In the previous verse we learned, it's important to remember the previous verse. Aham ivasam ivagre nanyat yat sadasatparam pashtadaham yaretachcha yo vasiseta sosmeham. It's a bit of a philosophical class because that's the nature of the verse. But in the previous verse, Krishna says, I was there before everything existed. And everything also resides within me. And after everything disappears, I will also remain. I am that thing that was before everything, during everything, and I'm after everything. So now Maya is described to be like one thing was like the reflection, right? And it's there only as long as you're present in front of the mirror. You walk away, the reflection's gone. And as long as you're looking at the reflection, it has some substance. But also the reflection has no independent free will. When you're looking at yourself in the mirror, your reflection is not going to start doing something different from what you're doing. You think like you smile and it growls. It's not possible. Or it's not going to attack you. It's only a reflection. So that's like Maya. You give it some meaning. You're absorbed in it, so the Maya becomes animated. So all these bodies we're in, what's animating them? Why are we moving around? That's the consciousness within us that's animating matter. But matter on its own is not animate. Maya means what is Jad? Dhamma. Dhamma means Jad is inert, dead matter. And Chaitana, consciousness, is what animates matter. So the bodies that we're in, these very bodies, we are animated, we're moving. But what's moving it? Only this Chaitana, consciousness. And without Paramatma, Krishna, we also can't move. Without God, the soul also has no existence. So that's Yat Pratyeta. Another example is given of darkness. So what is darkness? Darkness means wherever light is not present. Wherever there's no light, then there's darkness. And if you're taking the case of a shadow, here also yata baso or yata tama can mean a shadow. So what is a shadow? If you're standing facing the light, then whatever your corporal being is, whether it be a tree or something, whatever's blocking the light casts a shadow behind it. So if you have one light here, and you're facing that light behind you, there's a shadow, right? If you're looking at the light, then you don't see the shadow. If you're having your back to the light, and you're facing the shadow, then you see the darkness. But Maya is darkness and Godhead is light. It said Krishna is light and Maya is darkness. So where Maya is present, Krishna is not present. And where Krishna is present, Maya is not present. That Yat Pratyeta Na Pratyeta. If you're looking at Krishna, then you're not looking at Maya, you cannot see Maya. It has no substance, has no artham, rite artham. Okay? When you're looking at Maya, when you're absorbed in Maya, that means you have your back towards Krishna. You're called Krishna Bahir Mukha. You're facing away from the absolute truth, actual reality. At that point, you're in darkness or Maya. And if you face to Krishna, then you cannot see Maya. So that means with Krishna, Maya is no presence. And separate from Krishna, Maya appears to be valuable, but really there's no value because the Atma is something higher. Okay, so then another example. If you look at a reflection in water, okay, imagine you're seeing like a mountain and many trees on the side of a river. And then the light casts the tree's reflection in the water. So you're looking in a river, and in the river you can see the trees or the mountains. And it's very beautiful also, right? That's called abhas. So you're seeing the trees. You may even see fruits on the tree if you look very close. But if you go into the water and try to pick the fruit off the tree, do you get a fruit? In the reflection, you see the figure, the form. But it's only an abhas, it's only a semblance. It has no real satyata. There's no real existence separate from the source. So as long as the source is there, the semblance or the reflection has some substance. But if you take away the source, the semblance is also gone. So if the trees and the mountains are gone, you don't see a reflection. The reflection is there only when the real thing is there. And the reflection on its own has no value. You cannot go and pick a fruit out of the reflection and eat it. You cannot sit under the shade of the tree in the reflection and get shade. You can sit under the real tree and get shade. You can take a fruit off the real tree and eat it. But in the water, in the reflection of the water, there's nothing there. So this is abhas. Material nature is like is tama, actually. Tama is referring to material nature, and abhas is referring to like Baddha Jiva without Bhagavan's connection. So the example is given there of the reflection in the water. Now one more example. At nighttime, tama, this is an example of tama. Little kids, right? You may be afraid of the dark. So at nighttime in a room, you see many shadows that the shapes of the shadows may look like scary figures, like a monster. And you're a little kid at night and and you're afraid of the shadows. Or you're afraid of what's underneath the bed. Or you're afraid of what's in the closet. And you tell your mom, go check the closet, look under the bed, there's a monster there. But they look under, there's nothing there. And then at nighttime, I remember also, when you're looking at the shadows in your room, it looks like a witch. It looks like a monster. And so you become afraid and you turn the light on. And there's nothing there. So tama means, it seems like it has some substance. And then Jiva Goswami also says, in darkness, scorpions, snakes, ghosts, witches, they may be present. But when the light comes on, it's all gone. So that means when you're absorbed in Maya, you're absorbed in fear. That's the nature we see from even childhood. And we look at animals, they all have bhaya, fear. This is one of the 4 states of conditioned life. Okay? That is 4 things that we can see that are the same between human beings and animals. Eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing or defending. We're always afraid of something. That means we're in Maya. When we're connected with Krishna, there's no fear. Krishna said, fear comes only when we're separate from Krishna, turned away from Krishna. Bhayam dvitiya binivesha tasyad. When our consciousness becomes absorbed, separate from Krishna, then fear arises. But it said, how do we become free of fear? Simply by chanting Krishna Nam, by chanting Krishna's names. Fear personified runs away in fear. In the Bhagavatam, there's a slok that bhayam bebete, that even fear, bhaya, becomes afraid of someone who is chanting the holy names. So there's nothing to fear, but we become afraid. So it's like when you're in a nightmare. You're in the middle of a nightmare and you're very afraid and you're being chased by a demon. And you're very afraid. And it may catch you, you may fall off a cliff, you may be like at the point of death, or you may die. But when you wake up, then the dream's over and you're no longer afraid. So that's our condition in Maya. It is like we're in a dream state and we're very afraid. And we're always trying to grasp different things, acquire different things, and we place value in things that actually, it's like, Rite Artham, we think it has value, but when you try to grab it, it slips through your fingers. Really, it has no value. Why? Like, we are born. As soon as we're born, we grow up, we start to go to school, we collect knowledge, and then we try to acquire some skill through which we can collect different things and get a good position. We can climb the hierarchy, we can have a nice partner, we can be respected in society, and then ultimately, our whole life we're striving to get something of value, but ultimately, everything's taken away from us at death or before death. So all that we're trying to do in our life is ultimately without value. It is called anartha, not artha. It is anartha, without any value. So this is what Krishna is saying, is that anything you do separate from me has no value. And also, Maya, in my presence, has no substance. That means na pratiyeta. So if you put darkness next to the sun, you think like, I'm going to go in front of the sun and I'm going to bring a box full of darkness and put it in front of the sun and it's going to still be there. It's not there. So tama, darkness, cannot be present in front of the sun. So God is described to be Jyotirmay, which means pure effulgence. It said from the tips of Krishna's toenails, all of the Brahma Jyoti expands and manifests. All of light, even the sun, is coming from Krishna's effulgence. And so in front of Krishna, Maya cannot be present. That's what it means. Tama. Yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta. In front of Krishna, who is pure light, tama or darkness has no substance. So when you go to Krishna, Maya is not there. That's why you cannot fall down from Krishna's planet. Because Maya is not there. Illusion is not there. She has no substance there. She is always, that's why it said that Maya is always behind Krishna with folded hands, wanting to serve, but she's afraid to come in front. She cannot come in front. She is only tama. Now the jiva, the abhasa. Abhas means a semblance, so it can mean like a light, a lamp. But the jiva is very small, minute. Anu. Anu means very finite. And Krishna is described to be brihad, infinite, or vast. So now another example is given. If you take a light bulb, like this light bulb, this is like 10 watts. If you take this light bulb and put it next to the sun, does it have any value? If you take a light bulb, put it next to the sun, what's the value of the light bulb? So that means yata abaso. You take the abas means a semblance of the real thing, or a minute part of the real thing. and you put it next to the real thing, what value does it have? So you take a mini light bulb, 10 watts, put it next to the sun, no value. 1,000 watts, no value. If you take the sun and you put it next to the Brahma Jyoti, God's effulgence, the impersonal expanse of light, what value does the sun have? The sun is no light. It said if you are able to see the glory of the soul even, because our eyes are material, we cannot see the soul. But it said the soul is more effulgent than millions of suns. Because the soul is directly coming from Bhagavan's Chit Shakti. It's Bhagavan's transcendental nature. So even the soul has the glory and brightness of a million suns. So even this material sun has no value next to the soul. So yata baso yata tama, if you take the light bulb next to the sun, no value. So it means that because we are very small in nature, finite, in Krishna's presence, we are Krishna's das, Krishna's servant. We cannot be Krishna's master. Krishna is the absolute truth. That is what he's saying. The jiva is separate from Krishna, but connected. Vibhinang Satattva. He is his separated part and parcel. And he can have a relationship with love with Krishna, but we cannot become equal to or greater than Krishna. This is what is being said by Yata Baso, that actually we are not equal to Krishna nor greater than Krishna. We can conquer him through our love. Krishna is conquered by love, but he is not conquered by physical prowess. Krishna's 6 opulences of beauty, fame, knowledge, strength, power, renunciation, wisdom, we are not equal to him in these qualities. And we can never become equal or greater than Krishna. You see, now another point. Separate from Krishna, the jiva may be very powerful, very great. Separate from Krishna, we see great kings, great demons. Hiranyakashipu, very powerful demon, conquering and terrorizing the universe. But as soon as the Lord desires, where's the power of Hiranyakashipu? He was placed on Nrsingadev's lap, and with Nrsingadev's nails, he ripped him into pieces. Even though he had so many boons, he could not be killed in day or the night, not on the land, not on the sea, not inside or outside, not by animal or man, not by any regular time of the year. But still, in front of Nrsingadev very easily, it said Nrsingadev was playing with him like a cat plays with a mouse. Hiranyakashipu was the most powerful demon ever. He was in Tatya Yuga. He had conquered the entire universe, all the devas, all the demigods, Indra, everyone. He was so powerful. And yet in front of the Lord played with him like a cat plays with a mouse. So yata baso, a baddha jiv, conditioned soul, may appear to be very valuable or very prominent and powerful, separate from Krishna. But in Krishna's presence, he is like the light bulb to the sun. Or like a firefly. If you take a firefly, at night, it glows for a moment, it pulses in its glow, and the firefly thinks, look how bright I am. But in the daytime, where's the firefly? Or you put it next to the sun, where's the firefly? So separate from Krishna, we should understand, nothing has value, and in the presence of Krishna, ultimately, we are very small. Krishna is brihad. Krishna is everything, the absolute truth, and very, very small. So this is our basic understanding of this verse. Riteyartam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyat atmano mayam yata baso yata tamaha. Any questions? You can stop it.